Morning. Welcome everyone to Passion, Purpose, and Possibilities. Hope everyone is doing well. How is everyone this Friday morning? So, doing a little bit different. The internet's down in my neighborhood, so I am doing this on my phone and via a tablet versus my normal studio setup. So, but hey, we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna have fun, and it's going to be awesome. So, a lot of great things going on as always. Please go to ingersollenterprises.com/events. There's a lot of great things coming on. We have a boutique that we will be part of tomorrow here in Magna. So if you're local to the area, we'd love for you to stop by. Might even be going live from the boutique. So if you're on watching, I'd love to have you drop by virtually. And then we have a summit coming up in end of July 29th. So still working on a few details of that, but it will be coming up about dreaming. So look for more information on that. You can go find some of that on ingersollenterprises.com/events. So yeah, that will be coming up. We've got a lot of other things coming up. So the events is constantly being updated. So, all right, I got my tablet down here, so don't mind me looking down a little bit. All right, just pulling up. Let's see here. All right, so today's guest, without further ado, is Christine Harper. Coach Christine, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing on this fabulous Friday?
Well, it's funny that you should ask. Fabulous Friday. Your internet went down and my light went out. This like 15 minutes ago. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, no. So sometimes things happen, but guess what? The show will go on.
That's right. The show will go on. So, um, technology can be a very useful tool when you
When
know
it
how to use it
works.
and when it works and when used for the right purposes.
That's true. Good point. Good point. Yes.
So, Coach Christine, how did that come about? Because my internet went down, I don't have everything pulled up in front of me like normal, so I apologize for not having um, your bio right in front of me and stuff. So, why don't you give us a bio yourself, if that's okay? Tell us who you are, where you're
Okay.
from, what got you into coaching.
Well, what got me into coaching was I retired from a 25-year career in technical sales. I was a manager at IBM and retired a little early. And when I got out, I said, what the heck am I going to do? I didn't want to. I thought about going to work for somebody else, but that didn't work out smoothly. So I said, why don't I just do something part time that I enjoy doing? And I started coaching. I went to John Maxwell program and got certified as a coach and speaker. And I just started doing it part time from home. And it was so gratifying that I just kept going. And it's been, oh my gosh, about 7 years now.
I love it. Is there anything particular that drew you to John Maxwell?
One of my friends in Toastmasters introduced himself and said that he was a John Maxwell coach. And I thought, I liked the way he carried himself. And I looked up John Maxwell and I liked what I saw. And that made me go ahead and sign up for their program. John Maxwell, you may know, he used to be a mega church minister, and then he retired from that and started this self-improvement program, and he's got thousands, multiple thousands of followers, of certified people. And when I went to the event, I was just so impressed with the way things were done and the messages that they were delivering. I just kept with it.
Awesome. I love that. You love the messages they were delivering, so it aligned with you. Because there are so many different great coaches out there that you can learn from and be part of their their program, if you will. But I find it fascinating and important to always remind people what aligns with you. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, excuse me, because then you're able to bring out the best of your coaching. I mean, you got introduced to John Maxwell through another John Maxwell coach. So knowing that they have the same content based foundation content, the personality and their flair and their experiences and backgrounds are going to be different than yours, and that's okay. And not everybody's going to click with everybody. And I um I find it fascinating, if you will, because um I was on the side of scarcity side of, well, if everybody's this John Maxwell coach, how come, why should I be one, because nobody's going to pick me or whatever.
Mm.
But knowing that the personality and not everyone is going to fit well with everyone, and everyone's going to learn differently. You can have five people say the exact same message and you'll hear five different times.
Exactly. And so because that's funny, I thought that same thing when I went to the event and I saw how many John Maxwell followers there were. I thought, why would anybody want to work with me? Actually, the first time I went, I didn't want to be a coach. I simply wanted to focus on public speaking. And I went through that train or that I went through that flow at the John Maxwell event. But what I found was that there are so many people who need a coach that they are going to gravitate to the person that they connect with the most. And I even tell people when I'm looking at interviewing potential clients, I tell them, please go interview a few more coaches, go find out and really feel like you can connect with whoever you decide to work with, because it becomes a very personal relationship. And if you don't connect with that person, it's not going to be pleasant. And I would like to see everyone have a pleasant coaching relationship with me.
Absolutely. I think that drives home the point where, if you do what you love for the right reason, the money will follow.
Mhm.
If if you connect with those people, it is a personal getting mentorship of any area of your life from anybody is a personal um, undertaking, or is a personal adventure. And when you look at it as a personal adventure, as a personal um, I can't find the right word, but undertaking, personal growth, then you will get so much more of it. And unfortunately, people look at it as just strictly as a financial transaction.
Which is a big mistake, because it is not just a financial transaction. In fact, you will find that sometimes the people that you get the most from, or that you get something from, are going to be people that you follow on YouTube, let's say, or people that you read their books, people that you go to a session and you see them speak. If you can listen and connect with what message they're delivering, then that person becomes important to you and becomes a mentor for you. Just because you pay, just because you buy a book or you sign up for a 5-day retreat somewhere, doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily get what you need. Because when you make a relationship with a coach, you want them to not only you want to feel comfortable with them, but you want them to feel comfortable with asking you certain questions. You want them to feel comfortable with calling you out on things that you might be doing well or missing the mark on. And if that person is not attentive to you, if they're simply following their strict program, which they know is a success and sold millions of books, it might not be the right thing for you.
Exactly. And I do believe on the other hand that, when you do invest in yourself with a book or a course, you do get more out of it than normally the free stuff, because you've put forth that effort, that exchange. But if you don't click personality wise, or
Mm-hmm.
um if it doesn't align right, if it doesn't feel quite right, you're not going to get the full effect, the full value out of it. like
Exactly.
like you were saying. And like you said, there are so many things on YouTube that are so valuable, that are free. And to the person, if the person aligns with you and you align with that person, it's got to be a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll be more open to receiving what that person is offering.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I, I
Oh,
love how you brought that up, because so many times we just look at the simple financial transaction, and we don't look at it as an investment. And oh, it's $3,000 or whatever the number is, and we're stuck on that $3,000,
mm-hmm.
and we're determined to make sure we get our money's worth.
Mhm. They only talked to me 4 times for $3,000. I'm not having it. Yeah, no, that's not the way to go about it.
So, and it's certainly, you know I'm all for getting your value's worth, but what do you consider value, or what do you consider your money's worth?
Hmm.
A lot of times we have that a little construed, or sometimes way off whack. but
Right.
but if that's your only focus, is getting your money's worth versus getting the value, getting what you're looking for, what you're needing, then you're not going to get your money's worth as
Yeah.
many as often.
So, Kenny, let's talk about that for a minute. Your money's worth, your value. You determine what the value is in anything that you purchase, right? There are black t-shirts that sell for $20, and there are black t-shirts that sell for $200 because they have somebody's logo on it. But you determine if that $200 t-shirt is worth it to you, and if you want to go ahead and invest. One of the things that I talk to young folks about is the fact that you are worth investing in. Now, I'm not putting a dollar amount on it, but I want them to understand that you, as an individual, as a person, as a gift on this planet, you are worth making some type of investment. And I try to stay away, especially with young people because they don't have much money, stay away from the financial specifics and talk about self worth self-worth and recognizing that you are a valuable contributor on this planet and that you matter. And once you get it, you matter, then you're willing to invest your time, your energy, and some of your money to make yourself better.
Absolutely. I like how you started with other things besides money, because we often undervalue what we have to offer. you
Mm.
know um and I do that with a lot of my clients. They'll say, I don't have the money, or I can't do anything to increase my income. And so I start going down the list of very basic things. Can you dog sit? Can you babysit? Maybe you can babysit someone's kids while they're running errands, and then they'll babysit yours while you're doing your business or whatever. Do a trade off, a barter system. Maybe you can um, clean somebody's house or mow someone's lawn.
Mhm.
They'll watch your kids while you mow the lawn, and in the meantime, you got this podcast or audible book or seminar going on in your ear or whatever. And we often undervalue those things that in some people's eyes are very valuable. um I know if someone were to mow my lawn, it's worth the 50 or $100 for me.
Mhm. Mhm.
So what are some things you can do? There are so many ways you can give a value. And hey, I don't have the money's not in my bank account. It's out there, but it's not in my bank account. But what if I ABC? Or what if I do this? Even if it's like 3 or 4 people involved, I can do this for person A, and person A does this for person B, and then person B does this for you, and it comes back to get me what I need or whatever.
Mhm.
You know, so I love how you started that. There's so many resources to bring in more income, and then, like you said, when you see the value and how you are worth investing in, investing time, energy, and money into yourself, you're gonna grow so much faster and get so much more out of life.
Yes. Once you acknowledge your personal value, those resources will come to you. It sounds like magic, but it's not magic. It's just the way the world works. If you are giving out the energy that says, I'm a helpful person, I'm a smart person in XYZ area, I can help you in this area, someone else will be willing to receive that and either pay you cash money or perhaps barter. Like you said, bartering services is that's a very ancient but valuable technique, because sometimes the people that you're bartering with don't have the cash either, but they need the services that you can provide. I was never I was never a good cook, but I like to eat. I like to eat and I like to try different foods. And whenever I could do something for someone who was a good cook, I received a big value. I received something that it was important to me and valuable to me. It wasn't cash, but wow, a meal, an authentic Indian meal that I couldn't make. I wouldn't even try to make that. That meant something to me. So that was valuable to me.
Absolutely. There's so many ways, and we don't look at them, like I was saying before. We undervalue them. If you are on any normal day, you call someone, or someone calls you, hey, can you give me a ride to XYZ? You know, okay, yeah, no big deal. And a lot of times you don't think twice of it. Especially if it's a friend and they live close by, kind of thing. But and you don't think twice about giving the ride to someone. It's just okay, whatever. But how valuable is that ride to someone that's broken down on the side of the freeway 5 miles from the nearest gas station?
Yep. Yep.
How
Very
valuable to
valuable.
that person is that service
Mm-hmm.
that we just, no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so we underplay the value that we do have to offer.
Yes. Yes. So with my coaching, I have been focusing on public speaking coaching. And it's interesting because some people, after they work with me just 1 or 2 sessions, they go, wow, how do you make that look so easy? How do you do that? we got to talk about it. You know, so there is something that I recognize within myself that it's a big deal, but it's not a big drain. It's something that is actually reinvigorating to me when I work with somebody and we're doing a public speaking practice or preparation. Whereas there are other people, let's go back to the cooking, the person that can put together the meal with from soup to nuts, that would drive me crazy. I've tried it and it did drive me crazy for one day and I didn't do it again. But something like working on presenting a speech or coming up with a presentation to help sell your products or services, that's the kind of thing that I find easy. I find that there's a natural flow, purpose, rhythm. There's a natural thing that makes me understand that. And I'm willing to work with people to help them understand it.
I love it. What is your natural flow?
Mhm.
Because we have so much to offer, and we try to ask so many people, what do you think I should do? What do you think I should do?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they're a someone qualified to answer that question, I would say, put some value on their feedback. But if they have no experience or no qualifications to answer that question, then I don't know that I would put too much on that. And but the person that can really answer that is the person in the mirror.
Exactly. Exactly. What do you think you should do? What do you like doing? What do you dislike doing? Only you can really answer that question for yourself. And to me, it takes some introspection, which is one of the things that most of us don't want to do. I don't have time for that. I don't have time. I have to go out and I have to hustle and make money. No, you've got to slow down, take a pause sometime, and do introspection. Think about what is it that makes me happy? What is it that I can contribute to the world today? And when you don't pause and take time to do that, you just keep running on autopilot. There's an old saying about the rat race. I don't even remember the whole saying, but just the concept, the thought of it. Everybody's just running and hustling why? Why? You have to slow down and pause once in a while to reassess what direction it is you're really going, and and to go in the right direction. Only you can answer that question for yourself.
Absolutely. And then the like you said before, the resources will come.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that may include money, that may include time, that may include coaches, mentors. So, and that's another thing. A lot of people think, I know what makes me happy. I know what comes naturally or what comes pretty naturally. So I shouldn't need any mentorship or coaching.
Michael Jordan was a good basketball player. Would we agree on that? But if he did not have a coach, someone to work with him and tell him, "Oh, you did that really well. Do that again," or move to the left. Instead of doing that, move to the left, and I don't know what the coach told him, but somebody paid attention to what he was doing and coached him to be great. So even if there's something that you think you're good at or something you think you already know, a coach will guide you to elevate to an even higher level. And so that's a valuable thing that even I didn't understand that in the beginning. When I went to the John Maxwell program and watched their track for public speaking, I thought to myself, well, I'm already a good public speaker. I'm not the kind of, I do get anxious. I get anxious because I want to be good, but I don't get that sick, nervous feeling that so many people report they get when they have to go in front of an audience. But when I went to the John Maxwell program and I listened to some of their techniques and some of their tips, I said, oh, I can be better. And I look at my progression since joining, and I'm proud of it. I think that most of us don't realize that the greats that we follow, the Michael Jordan, the Tony Robbins, all those people who are standouts in their community, they have a coach. They have someone tweaking what they're doing or nudging them in a particularly different, in a new direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's okay. You don't have to
Hmm.
know everything, or you don't have to pretend like you are the best of the best of the best of the best of the best, or whatever that or think that it's a weakness. I used to think it was like a weakness, or like I wasn't qualified to be a coach if I had a coach.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that is so not the case. I
Hmm.
just like you, I've grown leaps and bounds by having coaches help
Hmm.
me in my journey of being a coach. And they bring so much to it, different angles, different perspectives. Um, you know, Tony Robbins has a coach for health, mental health, physical health. He's got a coach for speaking. He's got all sorts of different coaches, and he learns collectively from all of them. And
Yes.
and he's open to know, and he's open to receive that he can still learn and improve.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think that's awesome. And getting back to your public speaking, I think that's um, another message that we talked about earlier is sharing your story to inspire others. And with that, again, that scarcity mindset, a lot of people are like, well, I'm not a public speaker, or I don't have a story to share.
Hmm.
I don't speak on public. I don't have a podcast, so how can I share my story? Or like I said, I don't have a story to share.
Yeah.
What value will my story be that's different than anyone else's?
We all have a story. We all have a story. One of the challenges is realizing how valuable you are to the world. And there is someone, and many times multiple someones, who will benefit from your story. But if you hold it inside, you don't share your story, you're robbing the world of something. I think that many times we don't want to share our story because we are self-conscious. Oh, they're gonna laugh at me. Oh, they're gonna think I look funny. We're self-conscious and we hesitate to share something that somebody else might be going through the same thing, and they just need to hear that one smidge of what you did to keep going. I grew up in New York City, and I used to take the subway to school because well, that's another long story. I took the subway to school, and one morning I'm on the train, and the train is packed. You've seen this on television. People are packed in there like sardines, and we're inching off the subway because it's time for me to change trains. And my foot slipped in between the train and the platform, and I went down. My leg was caught there in between the train and the platform, And I just kept wiggling and I couldn't seem to find the right wiggle to get out. And somebody yelled, "Oh my God, the train is going to take her leg off." And when that woman said that, I got so, I don't say I got so scared, but something clicked. And I said, "Oh no, it's not. It's not going to take my leg off. I'm getting out of here." And I reached up and I think I asked somebody, "Please help me." And somebody did help me and I was able to get up. I wasn't really hurt, which is a surprise, but I was a teenager and teenagers they don't admit when they're hurt first of all. But I got up and shook myself off, dusted off and said, "Wow, I've done this every day. I took this train every day. How did I miss that?" Well, sometimes you're just not paying attention because there's always a gap between where you are and where you want to be. And that small, what seemingly small gap at that subway platform could have been a disaster for me personally. I was proud of myself for asking for help because even though it was crowded, obviously nobody was trying to help me. It was a spectacle. Nobody was really trying, but when I asked for help, somebody did give me help willingly, and I was able to move on. So I look back at that and I try to tell people, remember, there's a gap between where you are and where you want to be, and you may have to get some help to get there successfully.
Absolutely. And that was a perfect story. You shared your story. That is part of your story right
Yeah,
there. You,
yeah.
and and pivotal moments and learning lessons and things like that. There were things covered in that short little segment that we've talked about earlier today. Is being in that autopilot, rat race autopilot, not paying attention, being embarrassed. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I,
Mm-hmm.
I I'm guessing that your pride was probably hurt more than your leg was.
What am I doing on this ground? And the train conductor always says, "Watch the closing doors. Watch your step. He's always telling people to keep moving so we can get the train going." So I've heard this a zillion times, but in that moment, I wasn't paying attention and I was on autopilot.
Yeah, and that's a prime physical example of what what would have happened if you didn't ask for help. Where would you be? Where would you still be stuck there? Would in this case, would your leg be a lot worse or
Mm-hmm.
off, or you know? So apply that to like your personal and business development. Where would you be for not asking for help?
Yeah.
Or is it worth hurting your pride a little bit or being embarrassed, but asking for help to bridge that gap? That's what help is. That's what mentorship and coaches are. They're bridging that gap between where you are and where you want to be, like you talked about.
Yes.
Is it worth paying the price of a little bit of embarrassment, maybe a little bit of pain, maybe physically or pride or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
to walk over that bridge?
Well, one thing I will say is I'm glad we didn't have camera phones, cell phones back then, because someone would have caught that and been playing it on YouTube over and over and over again. So I look at some of the young people now and the things that they do, and they think it's funny. They put this out on TikTok and whatever other social media there is. They think it's funny, but you have to acknowledge what is truly happening. Are you trying to make a joke or are you embarrassed and just going to look the other way? I think people have gotten too comfortable with some of the foolishness that they put on social media, and they're not using it to help themselves grow. They're not using their mistakes to help them grow. They think just getting a laugh is worth it.
Yeah. And they're missing so much out of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, but if you're willing to be uncomfortable or share your stories, I've got several YouTube videos that when I look at them now, I get embarrassed because of the recording and stuff, and I'll probably say this about this recording of myself in a couple years or whatever, but it's worth it to help myself and to help others. Maybe this
Right.
conversation helps someone 2 years down the road that you and I will never meet.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, it's this conversation has served its purpose.
Yes. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. And for you doing this podcast, I didn't see all of them, but I saw a few of yours on the YouTube channel. For you to keep doing this consistently, someone is growing from it. Someone is benefiting. And this is what I mean about coming to terms with the fact that what you think is a little story or an embarrassing story may help someone else. And there is a way for you to get to learn how to share that story so that the next person can maybe sidestep or sideswipe that problem.
Absolutely. And that made me think of another example going back to Michael Jordan. Um, you know, everybody knows his name and what he's accomplished in the field of sports and stuff. But if you read some of the statistics, I don't know the exact numbers right off, but he said I missed like 70% of the winning goals or winning shots that my
Mhm.
team entrusted me with, or something to that effect. But he still put himself out there. He still was out there. He's still willing to fail forward, still willing to, you know, take the heat, get criticism, but learn and grow and keep trying.
Yes.
And we know his name. Um, Oprah was told she was not fit for television.
Mhm.
Disney was fired for not having an imagination. So don't let setbacks stop you.
Right. 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 Setbacks will come, and they are stepping stones. Each time you stumble, get yourself up and learn something. Observe and learn something from what just happened. You don't have to cover it up. You don't have to just throw dirt on it and not let anybody say, "Oh, I'm not going to tell anybody I did that." Think about it, reflect on it, figure out what the lesson was for you, and then you might be able to share that and help somebody else.
100%. 100%. And on that note, and on the note of putting yourself out there, where can people connect with you?
You can find me at www.powerhousemotivations.com/Coach Christine. And for anybody that's listening today, I will offer a 30-minute free strategy session. If you send me a note and tell me where I'm from, those are listening skills. If you've been listening, you can probably hear it in my voice, but I also mentioned it. Where am I from? Send me an email at Christine@powerhousemotivations.com. That's Christine@powerhousemotivations.com. And I'll be glad to get back to you and set up that free 30-minute strategy session.
Awesome. Awesome. Christine, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story with us today. I know that you've helped me learn already, just in this short 40 minutes and stuff and the conversations we've had previously. So everybody listening, thank you for being here, and go take her up on that offer. You won't regret it. Send her that email, tell her where she was from, see if you can answer that, and get on a coaching call with her. Learn more about her, see how she can help you, see how you can help each other, and get over that embarrassment. She'll help you get past that embarrassment and use it as a stepping stone, from a stumbling block to a stepping stone. And
Yeah.
again, thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. And as
Thank
always,
you.
thank you so much. Remember to live your passion, fulfill your purpose, and explore those possibilities. We'll see you next time.